Hello my crafty friends, I'm Leslie and thank you so much for stopping by Crafty Cards with Leslie. Who doesn't like a great sale? Certainly I do, but I don't have any wedding cards to make anytime soon. So what do you do with this set? Anyway, I've been playing with this set today and I've come up with a few alternative ideas. This set, Here's to Love, is available online in the last chance section at Stampin' Up. So let's take a closer look at these cards and then let's make a card. So, when you look at this, I think of wedding anyway. And, but then I thought, well, as I said, I don't have any weddings coming up as far as I know in the near future, but I couldn't resist. This was just a great sale price, so I just couldn't resist this one. But I thought, well, I'll just play around with it and see what else I can come up with. So this is what I came up with. Graduation. I thought, you know, guys get dressed up for graduation, and that will be upon us before we know it. So I just stamped, I'll show you what I used for that, the background. It's an old Close to My Heart one. And it's to our grad, and it's just a grad cap. So I just randomly stamped that and then turned this guy into the grad. I thought that worked out quite well. So these are the girl cards that I came up with, and quite different, I think. These ones, they're 5.5-inch square cards, a little bit different from what I normally do, but I bought a batch of envelopes which was 6 by 6, and this just fits perfectly into those. By the time you've got some 3D effects going on and you just need that extra little space. So I'm actually managing to use my 6 by 6 envelopes up, which is good. So this one I bumped it up, and I used, let me have a look at my little cheat sheet here. Hello Irresistibles. That's the background paper. It comes in 6 by 6 sheets, and so I used it for the background and for her dress. And actually on the flip side I used it for the balloon as well. And this one I made a little less formal because actually on this one her the actual stamp is, let's start with this one, is backless. But I thought with this one I'll just give her some straps. So I just took a pen and just drew the lines. But for this one, I actually gave her a little shirt, so or a little, I guess, some kind of a top anyway. So it's all paper pieced. My favorite thing to do. I just love paper piecing, and then just ink the background. So I thought they were quite different cards from the wedding cards they were supposed to be. So this one I just did a scrap. It's just out of my scrap bin for the dress, and so I think we're going to make this one today. Well, we are going to make this one today because I've got it all ready to go. So I'll just move these ones out of the way, make a little bit more room on my tiny little table. Okay, so are we in view? I think we are. Let's move that up here. So as I said, I have everything cut out, and I obviously die cut everything, and I'll tell you the sizes of the cards I'm using. 5.5 by 5.5 for the card base, and then the little mat. I like to give them layers, and that's 5.25 by 5.25. And then this one is approximately, yeah, it's 3 3/4 square. And then this one is a die. It punches out, it cuts out the actual square piece and then the little frame all in one. And that is just less than 3.5-inch square. And then just a scrap of paper to do the balloon and get that done. So so here's our little lady. So let's start off by, actually let's do the card base first. And then I can get all these little bits and pieces out of the way, and I won't lose anything, hopefully. Okay, let's just give this a little crease. I make these card bases out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet, And of course, half of 11 is 5.5. So just cut it at 5.5 and then score it at 5.5, and you have a square card. Very easy to do. Okay. Take the top off. It'll work a little bit better. It's a very frosty morning here this morning. We've had a very mild winter so far, but no snow at all, and very, very frosty. It's, I think, about -3 this morning, which is rather cold, but it does look quite nice. It looks very wintry outside. And I'm just going to put some tape runner going across these two here just to hold them together. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to actually put them on another base as well, and just keep them all together. So do we have enough on there? Put one more on there, one in the middle. And then we'll just center this one. There we go. Okay, so now we'll put this on one side and we'll build our little lady. Okay, so we have these two pieces. So all I did was just stamp them twice, obviously once on the scrap piece of paper and then just on white paper. So I'm going to go ahead and just color those in. They're a very quick one to color, and I'm using the Fair Skin blend for her skin, and I'm going to use the light one. And it's a very, very quick coloring job. You just want to give a hint of color. So when I cut this out, I actually did cut underneath the arms there, cut the centerpiece out, and I cut when I'm actually dressing her, I cut the base out a little bit smaller so we don't have any little bits sticking out. And I'm just going to go on the shoulders. I'll just add a little bit more color just to shade it. I'm sorry, I think I'm jiggling my camera as per usual. And just go down the sides. Okay, so a hair, this one is Earth Brown Blend. I'm going to do the medium one. Looks rather messy, doesn't it? But it will sort of even out as it dries. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of the dark on the tri-blend markers just to give it a little bit more definition. And just cover up any little bits around the edges. Okay, so as I said, a very quick, missed a little bit there. Very quick coloring job. Okay, so where is my glue? Oh, there it is. Give it a little shake. Now I'm just going to put this all over the body part here. And then I find the easiest way to do it, to get those little skinny bits on top, is just to drag it down. So you add in glue to the top there. So just line it up with the actual ink where it's stamped. And then we'll just pop our hand over the top there. Okay. So that's all there is to do. So let's bring in the card again. And I've got a little bit of scrap paper here. So as you can see on here, all the background is just a very light rub of color. So I'm just going to do the same thing with this. And I chose those colors because those are the colors, the main colors in the dress. Sort of a teal color and pink. So I've chosen Glacier, which is very close to Coastal Cabana, and Pretty in Pink. Actually, just let me put my top on my glue. And actually, one thing I'm going to do is just cut off that bottom part there. If I can find my scissors, good heavens. I thought I was somewhat organized. Oh, here we go. I put them away. I always find that. I always come to the table and something's always missing. So I'm going to cut it off round about there. Just need it to stick there. On that one, I actually put it underneath the frame, and I find the frame sort of sticking up a little bit. So I'm just going to trim it. So she's actually just sort of sitting in there. Maybe I'll take it down a little bit more. I always like to do little bits at a time. You can always take more off, but you can't add it back on. No, not very easily. I think that's good. Okay, let's leave it at that. Okay. So I need my pink brush. And all I'm going to do is just hold it straight across and then just brush it lightly. And I'm just going to smear it just in a couple of different places. Okay, I think that's all we need. So that's the Pretty in Pink. And then this one, the Coastal Cabana. I'll take my other little brush. And same thing, just smear it across. Take it back the other way. Okay, I think that's all we need to do. So I'll just blend those in just a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to, actually, while we've got this one open, let's make a Coastal Cabana balloon. Now you can just cut it out of cardstock if you wish, but I figure as soon as I've got the ink here, and I do like the ink when you're doing sort of a balloon or something round like that, because you can swirl it around and that gives you a bit more shape to whatever object you're going to cut out. Okay, so let me get my little punch and we'll punch this one out. And this, I have no idea, it's really, really old. I have no idea what make it is at all. All it says on it is made in Taiwan. There is no indication of company or anything. So I'm going to have, you see there's a little bit, I don't know if you can see, a little bit lighter in the center there. So I'm going to have that as the center of the balloon. Just pop it out. Okay, so let's get her all set up on here. Now what I did with this one here is I just took a, it's just a very fine tip marker, excuse me, dear, and I just put sort of a balloon string going down. Quite easy to do, so you just need to figure out where you want the end of the string, and I think I'm going to go there, and then head towards a hand. So just little swirls, just keep it very fluid, and then just finish up where a hand is. You can get stamps that do that, but I always find I have a couple, but I find they're going in certain directions and I don't particularly want them to go in that direction. So just as easy to do it yourself. So let's get her stuck down. The bottom part, I'm actually going to just use tape runner. So that will be down, and then the top part I'm going to bump up. Actually, let me put small little dimensionals on her head, so we don't want to be able to see any. But then I'll use the larger ones on her body. Okay. Put one more in the middle. And then we'll just bump it down to the frame. So just make sure your hand's sort of touching where the end of the string is supposed to be. There we go. So that's attached. And then we'll do the same thing. So I'm going to put tape runner down at the bottom. And then a dimensional on the top. Okay, so let's stick that part down onto the card. Now you can do dimensionals on this part to bump it up, but I think I'm going to just lay it down flat. It's got lots of nice layers going on there. And then I'm going to use some stickles to add a little bit of bling to her clothes and the balloon. Let's see if we can center this. I think that's more or less it. Okay, so let me see if you can see this. I've put little, well, I put these ones on, the silver stickles, and just put a little bit of glimmer down the side of the balloon there, and then just on the center of the flowers. So let's go ahead and do that. Actually, before I do that, let me do the sentiment. Now I've stamped out a whole pile of different sentiments here. So let's see. Oh, happy day, enjoy the moment. Let's do enjoy the moment. That would be good. Now I'm going to put these on dimensionals as well. I've got these little dimensional strips. And I'll just put one in the middle there. But I always find it's nice to actually have a stamp set that you can use for more than one sort of event. Okay, let's try and get it in the middle this time. Close enough. Okay. Yeah, I just didn't want to put that on after I've put the stickles on and then smudge the snickles. Easy for me to say. Okay, so let's just make sure that this is flowing okay before I put a big splodge over my card. Yeah, that's good. Sometimes you get little air bubbles and they just pop. Okay, we'll get it flowing, and I'm just going to drag it. Hopefully we'll get it flowing. Yeah. And just about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, that's all I'm doing. And just dragging it down. I don't want to put it down on the flat surface, that might help. I don't want to have a great big streak, just a little glimmer. Okay, I'll just smear that out. Okay, so that's it for the balloon. So I'm going to just pop little dabs in her dress. You know, if you don't have any stickles, if you've got gems, you could do it with something like that. Or you can just leave it plain too, depending on what paper you're using. I mean, you might use some glitzy paper, or you might want to have it so it's not as glitzy. Crafting is a very individual pastime, and everybody's got different ideas and different likes and dislikes, so nice to do your own thing. Just a jumping off point. Okay, I think that's all we need to do. Yeah, so I think, yeah, that's the card finished. Excellent, another card to add to my stash. I'll list everything below that I used to make this card, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again next time for another card idea. Happy crafting. Bye bye.